Hi guys, I'm waiting for my story about my school time, about my childhood. I hope I will tell you something interesting about it. First of all, I would like to say that school time has huge influence and plays very important role in every future adult life. School time is the period when knowledge, skills, so personal characteristics and our behavior are formed. No doubt that this time is one of the best to make friends easily. As for my school time, I can say that I spent it in a small polar city. In spite of the fact it was small city, there was very developed infrastructure. There were different educational institutions like music school, like dance classes, like sport groups, theater classes, and etc. As for another important thing, I would like to notice that we live in very uncomfortable climate. When winter was half of a year, and it had influence on our character, on our behavior, our personal characteristics. Children who lived in our place are very helpful, they are kind, and they achieved their goals properly. Um, Maybe because our life was overcoming every time. We had to go to school when weather was terrible, when wind blows, was terrible, when wind blew so strongly. Uh, okay, to continue about my school time story. Frankly speaking, I was easygoing person. It was easily for me to make friends everywhere. And I would like to tell you about my first school friend. Her name is Irena. We were sitting at the one desk during primary school. Unfortunately, she had to move to to another city in Latvia, and we lost each other. Well, I believe in destiny, and 20 years later, we met in airport of St. Petersburg when I was in a business trip. I remember when I didn't drive, but I was looking for one of girl for a few minutes, and that moment this girl grabbed my attention too, and we were looking at each other 5 maybe 10 minutes, and at the end we recognized that we knew each other. Really, she wasn't blonde and she wasn't tall like in our childhood, but she had her enormous blue eyes and her positive smile, and we exchanged our contacts, and now we communicate every day in Facebook. And I am grateful, Destiny, um, for our meeting again. Um, uh, let's come back to my experience in my school time. I was the one of the best pupils uh, in my class in my school. However, honestly, I wasn't so perfect in knowledge. Um, the secret why I was the best. Um, really. Uh, there were two smart girls in our class, me and my competitor, Luba. Luba, both absolutely perfect in every subject. And as for me, it was like competitions every time. When Luba won, for example, won in the mathematics Olympiad, I did my best to get the same result. Every time when Luba got the best marks, I did the same. I tried to be excellent. I tried to be better than Luba. But one time in high school, Luba moved to another city, and I lost the great motivation to be the best in our class because obviously I was the best without Luba. Fortunately, I graduated secondary school with honor. My first love helped me in it. I was fell in love. I was head over the heels in love, and he was our young, handsome teacher of history, and he liked pupils who were smart, who tried to be the best, and this is the reason why I tried to be in the top list of pupils in my school, especially in his subject, history. It's a pity I was only pupil for him. Um, 10 years later, when I came to my native town, and when I decided to meet my school, my teachers, I met him, and I was totally disappointed because he became ugly, bald, fat, and moreover, he had 3 daughters. Um, he wasn't my beloved man from my school time, from my childhood. On the one hand, if I was so perfect in secondary school, I was behind entail in music school, because musical education wasn't my desire. It was desire of my parents, and they didn't give me my personal money when I didn't get good results in music. It was super motivation for me to try to play piano, but I really hated it. I could play the piano, but it was so terrible for me. I had no excellent hearing, but I had to study, I had to sing in chorus. Um, but as for music school, I can find positive aspects of this education. Really, I liked the musical history, and I was good enough in this subject. I liked to take part in some concerts, in musical events. Our music school visited more than 20 cities. It was a funny time without parents. We lived together with other children, and we saw different exciting places and met interesting people. In spite of this positive aspects of music school, if I were a child again, I would prefer to study in, for example, dance class or sports school, because when I was child, I suffered from lipodynamia, because sometimes it was impossible to go out and breathe fresh air, because I told you about that my childhood was in power city, and we had to walk in the halls of blocks of flats. And for something interesting, I can tell you about my childhood. I would like to tell you about the best of the best friend from childhood. Her name is Lena. We met in kindergarten when we were 4 years old. Few years later, we moved in one house, and we were neighbors. I was only child, and it was too boring to stay at home alone, waited my parents from work, and Lena, she became my real sister. We did our homeworks together, ate together, played together, visited music school together, and sometimes we slept in my and or in her rooms. Uh, But in our relations, I was a leader, and sometimes your parents were angry, were mad about it. Because, for example, when I decided to cut my hair, Lena did the same. Uh, as for Lena, as for me, we are still friends now. I was her bridesmaid 3 times. Now she's divorced, but I hope she will be married again, and I will be her bridesmaid again too, bridesmaid. Despite of the fact she lives in Moscow and I live here in Novosibirsk, um, we communicate every day, every morning, every evening, and sometimes uh, we chat um, in Facebook, in Skype, in the middle of day, at midnight, every time, because I love her and she loves me, and we can't live without each other. And I hope she was my friend, she is my friend, and she will be my friend all our life. In conclusion, I would like to say that school time teaches from school time behavior of our parents when children everything from school time and from childhood have has enormous huge influence on all our life, and parents have to protect their children, have to save their children, have to find the best way to to how to review their talents and full time. The foundation of our life, and sometimes school time is everything of our life. When teachers have super influence, it could be bad influence, it could be useful influence, and when we are adults we like to review our memory about school times, about what happened in school times, and I hope in every person lives school time in every person's lives help to create your personality. That's all.